Welcome again to another late night drawing session. Late night for me, it's like 20 after 7. But 7 o'clock's my bedtime, so it's late for me. Anyway, I happen to be up and I'm going to do a little bit more work on the Yellow Man. And continuing on from the page I was working on last with Chick and Lorelei, and Chick inviting Lorelei out to drinks at a nearby saloon called the Tally Ho. And Lorelei mentions the obituary of Erwin Roth that she spies in the newspaper, and Chick replies, "Erwin who?" So we're going to cut to the Tally Ho, and I've got penciled in the front of the saloon, and this is copied from a previous version of the sequence that I did. That I'm redrawing it here, I'm making some changes to the script and so forth, but in many ways it remains the same. And then for the next panel here, I'm going to trace in a sketch drawing I've been working on for that panel, which Chick and Lorelei are joined by the third of their party. His name is Nicky Kinfisher. And this is a character that has been in various versions of the comic as I've attempted to draw it over the years, and he's sort of a how should I describe him? He's inspired by a few people that I knew in life, and he's kind of a character. The closest thing I can think of to compare it to is Travis Bickle, a Travis Bickle kind of character. So he's got a kind of creepiness about him, and a kind of an awkwardness, a Christopher Walken kind of awkwardness about him. And he's in many ways a very unsympathetic character. He says a lot of misogynist things, a lot of slightly fascist kind of things, and why he's friends with Chick and Lorelei is never really explained, or why they tolerate him, what they see in him. He has this look I've given him of like one of these members only jackets this is his costume, so he wears this jacket with a turtleneck all the time, despite the weather. He's always got this turtleneck on under his members only jacket, and his aviator glasses, and this is sort of a look that I settled on for him. And as we cut to the scene, he's saying something typical. He's talking about the commies, how they're taking over, and he's gonna invest in gold or precious metals. And so they're talking at the bar, and he might be commenting on something that he's seeing in the TV news. So I'm going to fit this sketch into this panel here, probably about kind of like that. So, okay, don't slip. Masking tape is not cooperating. Alright. And I gotta leave some room for the word bubbles. I think that they'll be able to fit in sort of right above Chick and Lorelei's heads. And the first part of his dialogue will actually appear in the panel before, over top the facade of the Tally Ho. Tally Ho is a name of When I was a kid, there was sort of a restaurant, or a grill, as they used to call them back then. It was a place you could go for drinks and also get dinner. And there's a place called the Tally Ho, and for somehow that name always stuck with me, and so it's now it has made its appearance here. So I'm going to start by penciling in my Nicky Kinfisher. He's got like a hairstyle. It's not really a crew cut. It's not a flat top either. He's sort of a hard person to get right, to really get the right attitude from his look. See if that's right. Yeah, okay. Another thing that I invented about trying to make his character, is he's unsympathetic in so many ways. So you have to make him funny as well, or else he just comes off as a totally unlikable character. So I was always thinking of things that he could be doing that are kind of funny. And one of the things I have him doing is every time he appears in the story, he's driving some different kind of vehicle that's related to some job that he has. The implication being is that he's got like a million different jobs. So different delivery vehicles. Every time you see him, he's like, one scene he's in a car that has a pizza delivery sign on the top. The next one he's in some sort of van for like I don't know, a plumber or something. At one point, one of the other characters calls attention to this by saying, "How many jobs do you have?" And I think I have him saying, "As many as it takes." Okay, I need this triangle. I love this triangle. I love it because of its size and also because of its color. It's sort of a pinkish orange and it's hard to see. Scratched into it are the initials ALC. It's my grandfather. He was a draftsman, and I ended up getting a number of his drafting tools, this being one of them. So, it's my favorite triangle. And I just use it for small things like that. This shot of Chick is really hard to do right. I still don't think I've gotten it right. Where he's sort of got the cigarette in his pursed lips. Sort of Andy Cap style. If anybody remembers the comic strip Andy Cap, and how he's got that eternal cigarette stuck in his pursed lips. Cigarettes are not really politically correct to draw anymore. But I think some of my characters, they have to be smokers. Chick is still kind of hard for me to draw. I haven't really gotten him down yet, and I've been drawing him for a long time, for years, and he hasn't materialized like some other characters do. I don't know why. It's just, I haven't gotten him just right yet. Drawing suits is kind of hard to do as well, getting them right. Clothing in general. Keep checking it. Seeing if I'm missing anything or if the tracing looks the way it's supposed to. And then finally, Miss Lorelei. Lorelei originally was not supposed to be the main character that she has become. Chick was the main character, and I've decided he's not really the main character of the story. So he's been reduced to a side character to Lorelei. Lorelei is really the person that I wanted to draw here. Okay, I think that's got them. Okay, gotta put in some word balloons. This process of doing all my penciling first on sketch paper and then light boxing everything onto the Bristol board slows me down considerably, but it's become the only way I can do it now and be happy with how the drawings are framed on the page. Oops, there's some There's writing on the other side there. Just trying to get my signature. Okay. So you see, it's just like I told you. It's gonna come right here. And we'll do one of those, call it a squink. Dialogue balloon coming out of the window. Can't trust these commies, he says. I think in my earlier version he says something a little bit more offensive. I've toned him down a bit. Okay. All right. The gut row is ready to ink. Welcome back to another drawing session in the dark. This time not a late night drawing session, but an early morning drawing session. And I'm working again on the Yellow Man. Page 5 is what I'm calling this page, although it might, page numbers might change. And we're in the tavern, or the saloon, the Tally Ho. And we have Lorelei and Chic, and the third member of their party, their friend Nicky. And I'm copying this next panel from an older version of this same scene that I did. I like some of the panels, and I kind of want to keep them, and I don't want to cut and paste. I don't like that so much, so I'm gonna trace it. And in this panel, Lorelei is looking over, and she spots somebody sitting there at the end of the bar, and it's an old guy, and she seems to recognize him, and she says so. And in the script, Chick replies, "Oh yeah, that's the janitor from our building." And then Lorelei says, "No, recognize him. He used to work for Sloan Studios." And she knows his name. His name is Walter Syntax. And turns out that he was a penciler in the studio back in the day when Jack Sloan owned the studio, and Erwin Roth, who is sort of he's kind of like the MacGuffin of the story. He's also the kind of the Citizen Kane of the story as well. He's sort of, we start with his death, Lorelei reading about his death in the obituaries in the newspaper, and then we sort of learn more and more about his life. So this guy worked in the studio with the two of them, the founders, and Lorelei's going to learn a little bit more about the history of the studio and of Jack Sloan and Erwin Roth and their mystery from talking with him. And when I originally drew this panel, Walter Syntax, I had in my mind kind of what I wanted him to look like, and I was using Will Eisner as a model. So that's where his look was inspired by Will Eisner. I don't know how many times I've drawn different versions of the same scene. Maybe 4 times?